I have this weird feeling that like this giant went to sleep. So maybe the world wars are calming down now that President Trump's been elected, maybe? I'm not sure. Oh wow, the gel from my hair. Yeah, I've been doing this a while. It was really, really upsetting when working on the wrong dream. Okay, so this is from Friday the 8th. Now I'm doing this because I've been told my potential wife, or who is going to be my wife, unless she says she doesn't want to. So I guess she's like on the fence. Is listening, so I need to communicate what I'm seeing on my end. So let's see. The first dream for Friday was smelling the food, something's cooking, and there's a lot of people that look like me. We're trying to figure out which one was me. So I have two ideas right now. I think my potential wife is either trying to figure out like what my true face is, like who I really am, or what sort of man with good qualities would be like worthy to be her future spouse. And she's close enough, because like if she does choose me, she's close enough that she can smell what I'm cooking, so she like understands. So the kind of like the proof is in the pudding. She's kind of seeing truths now, or at least truths revealed by heaven. You know, it's hard for me because I've had discernment since I was 5 that I forget this isn't normal, this is exceptional. And for me, it's normal, and I need to remember that this is not something a lot of people get day to day, whereas miracles have become normal in my day to day. Like I was upset because some of the people I have plans to work with in the future are starting to dream share, like they're showing up in each other's dreams. And I was like, God, can I show up in so I went up to one of the coworkers who I just recently gave gifts to her, and I was asking, hey, did you dream about anything? No, not really. Okay. And then I was like, man, I really wish I showed up in one of her dreams, so that'd be cool. And then she goes, oh, wait, I did remember what I dreamt about yesterday, though. And I was like, what? And she's like, you were there, and you said, we're looking for Mr., and then I couldn't hear what you said, and your face was like all dark. And I was like, well, that's cool. She had a dream that she was working, and she opened up like a box, and this white liquid like touched her lip, yellow liquid touched her lip, and then she had to go to like an emergency room. She had to go get an MRI, and she could feel herself kind of cooking. And I was like, what does that mean? So I had to pray a little bit. God, increase my gift of dream interpretation, increase my discernment. And then finally it clicked, like everything popped into frame, focus. And I went back to her, I'm like, okay, so you unexpectedly have this gift now, this anointing upon your lips. Because remember, we have the soul, you speak, and speaking is how we exercise the soul, because we pray, right? How did God make Jesus? Jesus is the Word, so God spoke the Word. God said, let there be light, and there was. So speaking, the sword of the Spirit is the Word of God, et cetera, et cetera. And I said, if you don't start getting in tune with or acknowledging your gifts, because I think she was, she's not young, but this is like a lot. She's kind of just like not someone who like has a lot of plans. She's just kind of happy to go along with whatever. But when you have the gifts, you have to acknowledge it and like at least work those muscles. And I told her, if you don't kind of come to grips with it, you're going to end up in over your head and you're going to cook. And she thought that made sense. And then when I talked to her again, like an hour later, she was seemingly on board. Okay, so the second dream for Friday, I was with my friend's niece and nephew, and then it was my other friend's kids. So the different younger family members. And so I think this dream has to do with my future daughter, the different people she'll get to play with and interact with. Then we're at an In-N-Out burger, and it was my treat, and I knew I had enough money to it. So I was squeezing through the like crowd. And that does sound like my family, because I have a lot of family members. I have like 61 cousins. I'm not in touch with most of them. I want to get in touch with most of them, because whenever you're pulled aside to get to the prophetic biblically, whenever you are someone who's going to operate in the prophetic biblically, you're pulled aside from kind of culture, and you kind of grow with God. And so when you re-enter culture, you have a God culture alignment that you then help regular culture to resonate with. So like, I'm someone who will say, don't do coke, don't cheat on your spouse, take one day off a week, remember to pray to God. Are you praying? Oh, you're having a hard time, let me pray with you. Then I was in my hometown, and someone's Mexican mom, my friend's grandma. So I think she's seeing my mom, who's Mexican. Maybe. So this Mexican mom had 2 kids, and I said, these kids need more than this TV. Because it was a TV, and they was just like watching like a lava lamp or something. And then I said, like, you need a VHS. They're watching these 2 birds, like white cranes. I should look up what a crane means. And I said, show them these Don Bluth movies, because I like Don Bluth. He did Titan A.E., he did Land Before Time, he did An American Tale, Five Goes West, he did All Dogs Go to Heaven. Really good movies. Finally, I said, is there anything I can do for you? And she says, my husband turns red while roofing. And I'm like, that sounds like a heart issue. He needs to go see a doctor. Can you afford a doctor? And she says, no, I don't know what to do. And then my friend was watching a show like Gravity Falls. And I gave this friend the gift of prophecy, so I must start being looked into the weird or the future or the, conspiracy theories. And it was supposed to be a brownish hue, but it was red like China, and they were making fun of China because China was trying to take everything over. This is why the border had been turned brown. So I guess stress, maybe. My friend's niece and nephew had this young girl they were supposed to be friends with, so that young girl's probably my daughter. I'm probably seeing it from different angles. She was bouncing in a car seat, but it was hanging from the sky. I asked her name, and she said, Princess Celestia through and through. And that was really interesting. She said, Princess Celestia through and through, like absolutely and of course. It might be kind of like a Yahweh statement. I am that I am, through and through. I asked my friend's niece and nephew what that meant, and she got really excited. My friend's niece. She was singing a song, and I was confused. And then I understood it was my child with Ariana Grande. And before anyone gets weird on this, I don't really know who she is. Like, I've seen pictures of her twice. Maybe I've seen her more, but I've seen pictures of her twice, and I've thought about her, I think, twice in my entire life. So that was weird for me. I was like, what is she doing here? Let me finish this dream, and then I'll explain what I think is happening. We poured out 3 of the drinks because they didn't want them, but it came free with the In-N-Out meal. Okay, so I have a feeling if the person I've been told I'll walk and talk with, my potential wife, decides I am not the person, she doesn't want to work in the miraculous, she doesn't want to work with someone who does ministry and what else do I do? I'm creative, I write and I do art. Then God's going to put the next person in line, and that happens. This is a really interesting story with this guy at a church, and he kind of has the same heart that I do. He's at the church, and he's like, this is boring, this is stupid, why are they even worshiping? This is annoying. And he's not angry at God, he's angry that church is doesn't have more umph, that it's not more rich, that it's not more steak and wine. And I get that. Everyone needs to be fed, but some people some people want more out of life. And so he heard God say, and he had never heard God's voice, and he heard God say, I'm sending an angel to you. No, first he said, I want you to make a movie recording real miracles, like a documentary. And he said, okay. And then God said, I'm sending an angel to talk to you. And he's like, okay, sure. But he said, whenever he closed his eyes, he saw a picture of a bright man standing in front of him. And he opened his eyes, no. When he closed his eyes, he couldn't see anything except for the image. And then he opens his eyes, nothing. And then he hears this angel say, I have been sent by God. I can spend up to 16 hours with you, and I can answer any questions you have and help you however you need. And so they talked for an hour, and the angel departed, and the guy was just like, okay. And so I'm similar. Sorry. And I've heard this from different prophets, that God will ask someone to do something, and they'll say yes or no. And surprisingly, it will enrich your life. Prophetess Julie Green and Minister Joe Dawson were both called to do like social media. Both of them were like, I don't know, that's really my thing, but you can learn social media pretty quick, and then it turns out to be really helpful and help your career and help your side businesses, and so it worked out. But it can be intimidating, and then sometimes God will ask you and it's not really what you want to do, and he'll go and ask the next person. I've known missionaries to other countries. The only reason I'm going to this country is the first guy God asked said no. So the potential wife has the ability to say no, and that's totally fine. I want to marry someone who wants to marry me. And the reason I'm logging this is I think it's going to be a Christmas miracle, and I want y'all to see what heaven is capable of when you interact with heaven instead of just kind of living your life with God in the background, like actually going after your dreams and going after your ambitions and going after what matters to you. So if this lady says no, I have a feeling, well, according to the dream, the next one who will be put in her place, who will be asked if she wants to marry this Christian gentleman here, will be Ariana Grande. And I don't want you all to think I'm going to chase her or go after her. I'm just going to continue to post messages on YouTube. I'll probably tag her in this video. And then I will just pray about it. And even when I don't marry her, I will keep her in my prayers. And Ariana Grande, if you ever see this and you want to do some projects, if you want me to bring people who can heal around a concert or something, I'd be open to that. They have to be accessible where it's free. Nobody's allowed to charge for the gifts. It says they were given freely, use them freely. And if I charge for them, they'd probably get bad. They'd probably get weak and stop working. I also remember I can do that next. I need to start a new video file. Oh, I understand what throwing the 3 drinks came out. So we're kind of triangulating, at least this is how I think. We have me, my spouse, and kind of Jesus/heaven. So me, spouse, and then heaven. I'm not here to drive towards my future spouse. I drive towards heaven, and I pray with heaven, and heaven works out bringing me a spouse. So that way, and doing that keeps me from being frustrated, because you know people who like want to get married and are frustrated. By the way, if you want to get married, start praying for it. Like, everyone wonders, where do I get a husband? Where do I do this? Where do that? Just pray and pray and pray, and God will. And don't pray for a little bit. Like, ask for things you genuinely want. God will tell you if you're asking for too much. I find all these people that ask for barely anything, and then they don't get anything, but it's because God's not going to give you pennies. He's going to give you gems. So in this Ariana Grande part, I also kind of saw inside of her heart, and it was like, I saw these glass like cherubim. Like, it looked kind of like an ornament you'd see in Christmas. It was these like little glass children holding each other up, and they made a carousel. You know, like the carousel with the horses and stuff. They made a carousel. And it was very beautiful. It was very pristine. It looked like something from like a childhood meets Christmas Um, and yeah, it was very interesting. Like instead of gems of jewelry, it was these class children ornaments that were all around this carousel that made up a carousel, and it was just really interesting and beautiful. But again, it was really weird because I couldn't name one of her songs, and the only time I thought about her is my friend said God had told her she was going to like marry a Christian man, or she wanted to marry a Christian man. But something was interesting. A week before this, a part of an interview came across my YouTube feed of her, and she said, yeah, I've realized I can tour less and do more, or not more, but other things I want to do in life also. So the timing of that seemed interesting, how God is potentially getting her married if we were to pair up and work together as a couple, and then maybe husband and spouse, but also keeping her in a holding pattern to follow her dreams and ambitions. I figured she'd be married or something, but I think I saw a post that she was filing for divorce, but I'm just gonna pray for her that she has a great life and finds happiness in Jesus and marriage and life. What was the next part? I was going through a store, it had a lot of jewelry. I was looking for a cross, but I didn't want something gaudy. Because you know, some like times rappers will have like the cross and it's just worth $200,000, and I'm like, not my taste. And so I don't know if you remember like the bracelets from the 90s. They were thick and had those studs on them around like a leather band. It was like that, but it was like made from heaven. Like the studs were like spiritual. There we go. And then when I looked at the band, it was like you could see through it, like into the galaxy, like into the mystique and mysterious. And so I slapped it on my wrist and wore it, and I heard my potential wife go and gasp. And so I think it was a sophisticated moment of hope and amazement. I mean, it sounds like she was happy. I don't know what it meant to her, but I could tell it meant a lot. And then I saw a young girl saying, everyone get off the ship. And because there was like this noise, I think that's my daughter again. I think something's going on an orphanage or halfway house or somewhere she is. But it's cool to see her take charge. I was at work and I had a basket. There's a veteran. He had his hand out trying to force things back. So this was really interesting. I was praying against the corruption in California. I was praying against voter fraud, and I was praying really hard. And then all of a sudden I saw this veteran holding his hand out, and there was just darkness all around him. He was trying to hold me back with darkness. And I thought, oh, you poor dear, like, I don't want to pray against you because I don't want you to be hurt because you're a veteran and you think you know what you're doing and you think you're helping, but you're not. This is awful. And so I just thought, you know what, I'll pray later. I don't want to hurt this poor fool. Okay, the next stream I saw this beige wall and there was these magnets that were square. There was like 4 of them, 4 like big ones like an inch, and then 4 like little ones, the big ones were like maybe 2 inches by 2 inches, and the small ones were like a centimeter by a centimeter. I think the beige wall has to do with my office. Our magnets and plans coming together, maybe. And I remember, oh yeah, because red is power and black is mystery. And then the next stream, I was arguing with myself and I went to turn the lights on, which was interesting because I was asleep, but it was like my room, and I woke up and went to the lights on, and I heard a voice say, "Not now." And so I don't know if they were watching my dreams and want me to dream more, or the answer was not. It didn't feel like that was an answer. It felt like it was a command, like a reaction, not a choice. Like I don't want to know now or think now. I don't know. And then I was at work shuffling water at everyone, passing it around, and that normally means spiritual gifting. And the spiritual feed, not feeding. What's the word for giving people water? But that's cool. So I probably do something supernatural at work in the next few days because there's bottles of water. So an experience probably. I'll probably do a supernatural experience for a few people. So that's good. That'll be fun and lovely. And this one, number 10, I was praying about Ariana Grande because now that she's in this dream, I want to make sure she has a great life. And I saw these books on my desk, and there's a stack, and then one said like J, and then I didn't see the middle part, and it said Gan, and I think I heard Rogan, so J Rogan, for Joe Rogan, and then I think I said I'm going to be on his show. So that'd be cool. If I heal people, if I heal someone's missing arm, probably definitely get on his show pretty easily. I'm in Texas, so it's not that far. Okay, and then the next part, there was like a box that was a flower or like crayons, and you put flowers in it. And I thought maybe that was like something to do with my daughter, maybe decorating a part of the office. Because the beige wall feels like my future office for ministry. A time when I'm not having to work several jobs or 2 jobs at once. Okay, and then I saw snacks at an office like Blizzard, and then I saw myself in the future, and I nodded at myself, and so that was cool. So it seems like I'm finally have the one job, and I can do this full time, and so that is a lot of fun. Oh yeah, when I was picking out the bracelet, I saw myself, and I knew the prices of things, and then I knew there was a subscription for a fee, but you got like the first week free, and I saw mystery, and then like the free trial was like the mystery part, and then it was like we're in it for actual. So I guess business is starting to get up and running, like getting off the ground perhaps after a stretch, I think. I saw a beach and all this sand, and so I feel like the shaking has stopped, like all the political shaking that God's trying to collapse the false houses, that buildings that aren't built on stone, they're built on sand. It's a biblical theme. And then the ocean, the ocean was peaceful. I felt that probably represents peace now. Like we're at the end of it. We've made it to the shore. And I heard them kept saying, stop, we're trying to help you. Stop, we're trying to help you. And I felt myself go, it's this fib that isn't a lie, but it's not the truth. So we do what they say. So it's a good way to lie to people. Instead of saying, this is the truth, this is the false, we say, this isn't false, and let people assume it's true. It's a good way to get people to do what you want until you can't. Like, it's a clever way to lie to people and to motivate them. But their hearts were evil and wicked, but they kind of didn't know it because they've separated themselves from their true agenda. So they like believe they're not looking at themselves, so that way they can believe that they're good even though they're evil. I think I saw Hillary and Obama, which, like, I'm not trying to say because I want to be political, but I have to say because I operate in the prophetic, so I'm not allowed to like not say what I saw. There's a guy in the bendy pole thing. I didn't get that. He got a high-pitched voice. And that's it. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. Truly. Yeah.